Okay, this is video 2 showing how to do the problems for the historical time practice sheet homework. So this video I'm going to show you how to set up the timeline, and I am going to also solve question number 2 in part 2, the bottom question on the first side of the page. Okay, so question 1 asked me to label the timeline above. Which side of the timeline is BC or BCE, and which side is AD or CE? Okay, I'm going to put this up above the timeline and out of the way so that when I get to labeling the years, I have plenty of space. It also says write what each term BCE and CE means. Okay, so I know that on the left side of my timeline I have BC and BCE. These are two ways of saying stuff before the year 1. Okay? I'm not going to write them out, but these two terms, BC, means before Christ. I know that from looking at the definitions on page 4, telling historical time. And another way of describing these years is to say BCE, which means before the Common Era. Okay? Either way, those labels refer to the left side of the timeline, left of the year 1 AD. Okay? On the right side, I have AD, the traditional term, or CE, the newer term. AD is a Latin phrase that means Anno Domini, and if we translate that into English, it means in the year of the Lord or in the year of our Lord for Christians. The second of these terms is CE, and that means the Common Era. Okay, I'm usually going to use that one, but I'm going to, at times, use them interchangeably. Either way, AD and CE refer to the right side of the year 1 on a timeline, stuff that has happened since the estimated birth of Christ. Okay? So there we go. The left side of our timeline is BC/BCE, and the right side is AD or CE. Okay, that brings me to the next part, which it says, then label the following. Before I even start, I'm going to take a quick look at my 4 numbers so I can think about scale. Scale is about getting things so each year or each century takes up the same distance on the line. Okay, the biggest numbers are the bottom one, 1128 CE. So I'm going to have to go all the way out to 1128 CE. So just for fun, I'm going to call this this end of the line, I'm going to think of that as 1200. Okay, the year 1200 CE, because it's a little farther out in time than 1128. So this is going to be 1200. Okay, and that means to keep it to scale over here on the other side of my timeline, I'm also going to use 1200. Okay, and that would be 1200 BC or 1200 BCE. And then to help me out with this, I'm going to put a line about halfway from 1 to either end, and each of those lines represents 600 because 6 is half of 12. So now I have enough information on this line to help me place these dates with some accuracy. Okay, and so now I'll just start working my way through them. 476 CE is the first one. This is obviously after the year 1, and it's going to be about 3/4 of the way to 600 because I know that, well, I know that 450 is 3/4 of 600. So right here is event A. I'll just write an A up there. Okay? And below it I'll write 476. That doesn't look very good. I'll try that again. Okay? Event A is 476. Jeez. There we go. Okay. Event B, 146 BCE. Okay, so now this is on the other side of the line. And 150, which is close to 146, is 1/4 of the way to 600. So I'm going to put that right about here. And that's event B. And that year is 146 BCE. Okay? C asks me for 800 BCE. So now I'm going to go, I'm going to find my 600 line, and then I'm going to go a little bit beyond it, about a third of the way beyond it, and that is event C. Whoops. Right there. Okay, 800 BCE. And the last one is 1128. That's the one that we used to decide how to scale our line. And that's going to be pretty close to 1200, but not quite there. A rough estimate, I'm going to go right about there with that. And that's event D, 1128 CE, or if you prefer, 1128 AD. They both mean the same thing. Okay. My next question asks me which year happened first, 3500 BCE or 200 BCE. Now these years are both in BCE. They're both on the left side of the timeline. And what I know is if I made a timeline, I'll do a quick one. And since they're both BCE, I'll put the year 1 way over here on the right. But if I were to go back in time in this direction, I know that as I go backwards in time, I would get to 200 first. And then I would have to go a long, long ways past there to get to 3500. But of course, we don't travel backwards in time. We travel from left to right on timelines through time. So therefore, 3500 BCE, the one that is farther left, is the year that happened first in time. Okay, this concludes the video 2 for the historical time practice sheet. If you still don't understand how to do these two problems, please talk to me Monday in class or see me in office hours on Tuesday. Thanks.